Welcome back to this second segment of the show for today. We're talking to RSimon, an individual who was on the Tennessee death row for 16 years, and of course spent more than 26 years incarcerated in the Tennessee prison system. And of course, Richard, before we had our first commercial break, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to really pick up where you left off the last time that we were dealing with this.
Okay, because there's so much to cover, Doctor, and I was thinking about on the commercial break, you was asking me how I was like to do the time. What stuck out in my mind was a spiritual phrase that says, the Creator only changed the condition of a person once they change their heart.
Okay.
And so as I was doing my time, you know, I was angry at myself, I was bitter, and had a chip on my shoulder. And once I got that chip off my shoulder and realized that I was there for a reason other than I put myself there, that I could turn a negative into a positive, I started doing better time out in the population. Because when you go through the trauma of being on death row, getting execution dates, getting stays and stuff, because I was trying to explain to you one time, I had several execution dates and several stays, but one time the paperwork got messed up, and I didn't get my stay in the appropriate time. And the warden at that time, I believe it was Ricky Bell at TSP, sent me a letter and told me that if I didn't get my affairs in order, within 72 hours, he was going to send me to death watch. And even after all those years of being on death row, they had carried it to another level. So it like opened my eyes and more, and basically really made me pray a little harder about, man, I want out. And so there's no way to explain, I guess, what's like to be on death row. It's like, man, just like you condemned to die. That's a great word, condemned. No matter what you try to do, they say you do your time. Don't let the time do you. That means I had to go ahead and submit to say I didn't want to live no more. So I was always wrestling with the issue of death row. Not the confinement part, but just the fact that to say I didn't love life. I didn't want to have any remorse. I didn't want to make a difference. I didn't want to tell my younger nieces and nephews, okay, man, I made a mistake. That okay, this ain't, don't glorify this. Somewhere along the line, someone glorified prison and told the young people that's the thing to do.
All right, go and talk
but
about it.
believe me, prison is not many happy people in prison. It's a few people who like it there because of their situation. But 99.9% of the people in prison do not like being there. So you got a bunch of people got attitudes, drug problem, alcohol problem. They done took tobacco out there. Got a lot of people upset by where they at. So prison is not a fun place, contrary to how they project it in the media and on different videos and stuff. Got a lot of people that's frustrated. You know, it's you're trying to hold on to your woman, you're trying to hold on to your kids, you're trying to figure out a way to not call collect. There's so many issues. A man doesn't want to be a burden to his family. Once you're in prison, you become a burden to whoever it is that got love for you, because you make 17 cents an hour. You always call and collect. You're always talking about, I need a TV, I need tennis shoes, I need this here, but yet you can't support yourself legally. I leave that at that. And so I was always wrestling with trying to accept the things I cannot change, and then in the end trying to change things that I can. Because I wanted out. You know what I mean? I wanted to go out like I came, but then the word of life sentence, you know, just to see people sit on the rail days in and days out, to play dominoes, see the same people play dominoes for 10, 11 years, see the same people play spades, you know, the same people, you know, and in prison it doesn't change. It's a routine, only thing changes are the faces of the guards and the inmates. But if you don't leave, it's the same thing every day. Every Tuesday you have chicken texaroni. On Friday you have cheeseburgers and french fries. Just like, we talking about years now. We're not talking about just once every few months. The routine does not change. So it's a boring life, and there's nowhere to go for private or solitude. So prison's not a good place. You know, if a person is honest with himself, he realized once he come to prison, he got to realize he done messed up. So for me, I was coming to grips with that, then dealing with all the different personalities, you know, dealing with all that kind of stuff. And it's just a day-to-day thing, a test of one's will, one's endurance, one's patience, one's tolerance, and one's understanding about the things that he put himself in. And you know, in order to get out of prison, you got to be worthy. Because I've seen a lot of people get out, and I've seen a lot of people come back. So I'm seeing all this here with so much time I had. I see certain people come back. I see certain people don't come back. I was trying to find out the common denominator, to what
brings
up
them back.
recidivism back. And it's drugs, alcohol, and women. You know what I mean? If you can't manage those or stay away from those, or no one wants to stay away from women, so that's why I say manage. If you can't do what's right and do it in moderation, you're going to do it in excess. And you do those type of things in excess, your life is going to be unbalanced. And, you know, I was seeing, why was people coming back? You know, I was in there for so long, I see a lot of people come in and out. It was like, man, you know, you back again. Yeah, I'm back again. I'm only going to be here for a year this time. And I didn't want to get caught in that revolving door. So I was trying to surround myself around people who were grounded and had consistency in their character. That's how you change stuff. We got to be consistent, because we got a thing, a statement we should say in New Beginnings, thoughts breed actions, actions breed character, character breeds habit. Or no, habits breed character. And that time, if you do something long enough, it becomes you. You speak the language of the people you're around. And I was trying to be around some positive people, because you hear the myth about prison, about the strong beat up the weak and all that kind of stuff. In a sense, it's a new variation of quote unquote the Willie Lynch letter. Okay. Young against old, black, light skin against dark skin, or all that kind of stuff. They pit the situation or the environment pits you against someone. You know what I mean? For it's the buddy system. If you got a friend in the kitchen, you get a better tray. The man behind you get a regular tray. It's always pitting each other against each other. So that's what prison about. It's volatile. It's subject to explode any time. So I'm trying to get away from that, because, you know, it's nowhere to run. You know, they cut the water off, you can't flush your toilet. So stuff like that, you have no control over anything but your thoughts and your actions in prison about what I do or what I want for myself. So I was trying to say, okay, if I don't belong in prison, I got to stop having criminal thinking and criminal behavior. So I was trying to be around some people who were doing something positive. And we got a common, a gentleman we know, like Bill Allen. I was blessed to go to a prison where he was at, and to where he would have been like a mentor and a friend and a brother to me, to show me that I could do good time and still hate prison. I don't have to like being in prison and just exhibit that with negative character. So you can be cool and be responsible and be laid back and still fight to get out. That's why, you know, I relished that friendship I got with that brother, because people like him dispelled the myths of prison for me, that you couldn't change. You know what I mean? That if you made a bad mistake, it didn't define who you was. That you can come to prison and, like I say, take a negative and turn it into a positive. Because, you know, we had a saying over there at Riverbend that every now and then you might see the strength of a blade of grass grow through some concrete.
Okay, very good. And of course, Richard, let me take this second commercial break, after which we'll be back with our audience in a few seconds. Thank you.